Okay, what I'm going to try and do is revive this 2011 commercial heavy duty battery. So that's, yeah, 11 years old already. It's got about, still got 11 volts on it. And I'm hoping it's just sulfated so we can $11.40. So I'd say all the cells are pretty good. So what we're going to try and do is revitalise this battery with a DC welder. I'll show you what I'll do. First off, we're going to take all the caps off and we're going to top it up with distilled water. So this DC welder, little portable jobby, I can't remember what it's called. It was bought off AliExpress or Wish for $100 New Zealand, so it's probably only $50–60 US. The other thing to watch out for is you want to do negative to negative, positive to positive, and I can't remember what, but I remember doing it a while back. That I stuck the clamp into the positive because it used to, I read somewhere it was doing better welds, and it seems to have done better welding with that clamp in the positive. So put that on the positive. Because it's a stick welder, this ain't gonna go over the terminal, so we'll use a vice grip with it clicked onto that. So we'll turn it on at the lowest amperage we can at the start. It's got a digital display here. Right, make sure you've got eye protection at least when doing this. So what this is going to do is start boiling the acid. And then we'll go up to approximately 100, maybe 150 amps slowly. So this acid, this is actually starting to boil already. So you want to do this for 5 minutes. Let it cool for 10. Do it for another 5. Let it cool. Do it for another 5, let it cool. And soon you'll see some gas come off it, hydrogen gas. So make sure you're never smoking, and always turn the welder off first. Don't just take it off with the clamps, because if that sparks, that battery's going to explode. And they do explode, because I remember back in the day when I was about 14 years old, my dad was charging a couple of tractor batteries up in the shed, and used to smoke rollies, roll your own cigarettes. He walked in there, walked over to the bench, took a puff, and a battery like this just blew to bits. So that was us running to the taps, get water all over us. So yeah, just be careful. And this isn't my idea, actually, it's up another guy called Sweet Car Projects. I was actually looking up about I-stop batteries, like I've got a car that when you stop at an intersection it turns itself off, and when you put your foot off the brake it starts back up, and the battery's gone in it, and I was just checking it all out, and I didn't know too much about them because they're not a lead acid battery, they're an AGM battery, or I think it's an EBF battery that can handle a lot of stop starts. I'll come across this, and I've got a lot of lead acid batteries that I stash for the farm, just so I can put portable electric fences on, but they're no good for a vehicle. So, and this is how he revitalised sulfated batteries. So yeah, interesting. Let's see if it's going to work. Now it's not going to work on a battery that's got a lead plate and the lead's come off and it's probably shorting, and it's dropped down and shorted onto the other cell. So it won't fix it, but it will fix sulfated batteries, I believe. But the boiling process may dislodge that lead that shorts out another cell, so it could work that way as well. So we'll give it a crack and see how we go, and I'll turn these amps up a bit more, give it a bit more heat and amperage. Turned it up to 80 amp. Starting to get a good bubble on now. So that's a good sign if all those cells are bubbling. So that's going up to 19 volts. So I'm not too sure. That must be a 24 volt DC welder. Right, that's about 5 minutes, so we'll turn it off, and always turn it off from the welder. Bubbling the same, so that's good. Okay, this is the third run now, and I'll just turn the amps up a bit more. So I'm told that the sulfuric acid doesn't actually evaporate, just the water does, the distilled water. So if it gets too low, we'll give it another top up, but it's looking pretty good at the moment. Right, that's it, I think. I'll cap this off, and I think I'll stick it on a 2 amp charge. It's 12.6, 12.5 volts. So I'm going to stick it on a 2 to 4 amp battery charger overnight, and we'll check it out. And I haven't got a load tester either, so yeah, I suppose we could put a light on it or something and see how long it lasts, or something like that. So I'll check it out in the morning. Okay, this is the third battery I've done today. Like this one here is pretty much the same as was at the start of the video, but this is actually a 2010, and it was reading 6 volts when I started it, and I've got it up to 11.5 volts. So I don't know if the cell's buggered or if it needs to be disulfated a bit more. So I'm pretty impressed with what's going on. So I've started this one. This one's actually a 2015. It come out of a brand new vehicle. So it's, and they said, no, it's buggered. So it might have sat on the old shop floor for about a year or two. So I've checked the voltage when I first put it on was 10.5, and now I've done a couple of runs and it's sitting at 12.7, so I'm pretty stoked with that. So I reckon this one's going to be a winner. The other two might be a bit old, but I've got one on the charge for overnight, and we'll see how we go. So I'll just turn this off, put this on again. It was 10.5 when I started. $13.2. That's what I'd expect from a good healthy battery. It is dropping, but it'll stabilize at about 12.7. So we might have saved this one. Hopefully, we'll see how we go. If it's got another charge and then cooling to go, then I'll stick it on the charger maybe the next night and see how we go. And also I had the multimeter in just like this, and then I started up the welder, so it was just still sitting there like that, and when I started it up it arced. So this is all do at your own risk, because it shouldn't have arced. I don't know why. It might have been just a bit loose or something, and yeah, lucky it didn't start boiling and gases were coming out, otherwise that would have been a big issue. So you see that's dropping a bit, but we've still got one more to go and then put it on the overnight charge. Right, I'm just going to turn this welder on again and check out this battery, because it seems to short when I turn it on. We'll just see if it does it again. No, it didn't, but it did short when I had the multimeter in. As you can see there was a bit of spark coming off that. Then I started it up again and it did spark again, but maybe, I'm not sure what was that about, loose connection. You might think this is to the ground and that's going to the positive, but it's not. This is actually going to the positive in the welder. So yeah, maybe it's cleared itself. Like I said before, it might have had a bit of faceplate lead dropped off and short circuited inside somewhere, but it hasn't done it again. So it's been holding up well actually. It's hasn't dropped under 7.8 volts after leaving it off for 10 minutes, so that's a good sign. So hopefully we've got a recovered battery here. Right, this is the next day. That's the one I had on the charge, the 2011 battery, after I had whatever you call it, desulfated it. So yeah, it's definitely got it better than what it was. And the 2010 battery that looks like this one, that is on the charger now, and it was still 11.5 volts. after I had done that process, and that was only reading 6 volts when I started that, so I didn't record that because I thought the actual battery was buggered, but no, it's definitely held its charge overnight to 11.5 volts, so I might have to redo that again. I was expecting this to be up to 13 plus volts overnight, but yeah, this battery might be a little bit past it. This one here, after I'd done that process yesterday, I put a light on it for a couple of hours and it did well, and it hasn't been on the charge, so let's see what it reads. 12.1 volt, so I think we've actually revived this battery. It just needs to be put on the charger. So this one hasn't been on the charger at all, and I put a load on it, such as the that this is a 55 watt what is it, 55 watt 12 volt light, and yeah, like I was saying, it had been on there for about an hour plus, and it's still, this battery still held out, and this battery here is still 12 volts. So yeah, this one's probably revived, so this process does work. So give it a crack with the old sulfated batteries. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Cheers.